Hi, everybody. We are group two. We studied Apple. I'm Nicole, and I studied the history of Apple, and I did the case study.
I'm Joe, and I studied the environmental analysis of Apple.
I'm Caroline. I studied the marketing goals and plans and the marketing objectives and the marketing segmentation.
I'm John McGrath. I worked on studying the marketing mix and aka the 4 Ps of Apple.
I'm Max, and I perform the SWOT analysis for Apple.
So, for the history of Apple, most people know there was two people who started the company in 1976, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, and they were two college dropouts. Steve Jobs from Reed College in Portland, Oregon, and Steve Wozniak from University of California, Berkeley. So at the time, they were frustrated with or they were frustrated with the current computer computers on the market. They wanted it to change. They wanted it to be smaller, and so they started off in Steve Jobs' garage. They created their first computer, as you can see in the picture, and later created the first colored monitor. But the first computer they made, that was all you got. There was no monitor, no mouse, nothing. So soon they took off. The business really took off. But Steve Wozniak left the company because he just was not happy with the day-to-day work that was provided for Apple. So he left, stepped down, and John Sculley came in from PepsiCo and joined the company. And this actually caused Steve Jobs to leave the company. He actually started a new company in that time called Next with George Lucas, who later would animate movies like Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., and Finding Nemo. But once John Sculley came in, the business really started to decline to the point where experts thought that they estimated that Apple wouldn't exist in 1996. They were declining that fast. So John Sculley called Steve Jobs and said, "We need you back. We are not doing well." So he came back as CEO of the company, created an alliance with Microsoft, and introduced the Mac computer, and then ever since then, the business has taken off.
So, technological growth had put the electronic industry ahead as it leads to a lot of manufacturers. Due to the entry of the electronic industry in everyday life, computers and phones have become a commodity product. Most users prefer the business costs over the performance of the devices. This has resulted in the various levels of provider strategies. The providers who provide at a low price may not be able to satisfy the users with the best features, whereas providers such as HP, Dell, and Samsung offer customers a wide range of options for varying prices. Apple differs from those providers because they provide high quality and high cost products, but without the diverse models. For example, Apple consists of a single model iPhone, varying only in its memory and its cost, whereas Samsung may vary in its product options from the technology by varying its costs. Apple is a well-known and established giant in the tech industry. Because of that, they have a lot of competitors, and these competitors have a substantial impact on Apple and its marketing strategies. While Apple is considered to be a frontrunner in the industry, companies like Google, Microsoft, Samsung, Dell, Sony, etc. are all right behind Apple. Apple must continue to evolve and develop new strategies in order to stay ahead of the competition. Apple stays ahead of the competition by implementing differentiation. By differentiating Apple products from all competitors' products, they manage to completely stand out in the market. Apple's unique products that have elegant designs are unlike anything else in the market. As a result, Apple products are seen as high-end. This makes Apple products more expensive in the technology market, but also gives them a competitive advantage with the fact that they provide a social benefit. People who own Apple products can be seen as more socially elite individuals. The elitism provided by products justifies the higher prices, and yet Apple tends to sell more than their competitors. All of this is possible through their generic, broad marketing strategy of differentiation. Differentiation has caused Apple to gain the competitive, economic, and socio-cultural advantage over their competitors. But it also gives Apple a technological advantage. Striving to stand out from the competition and to be completely different than anything that has been seen before requires innovation. Apple must innovate to differentiate. The technology they produce in their products is one of the highest quality and performs at a high level because it has to. If it didn't, then they wouldn't fulfill their differentiation strategy.
Apple's current marketing plan. I looked at the marketing objectives, and it is very obvious that one of the big things about Apple is they consistently are coming out with groundbreaking features and ideas and new updates. One of the many ways Apple keeps the public talking about their products is by launching new iPhones every year with new updates and upgrading and like new iOS updates, which is also another tactic that they use. A lot of times they will only have the iOS updates available for like the newer phones. So then if people want the iOS update, they're gonna have to purchase the new phone as well. One of the many current success stories that Apple has had is with the iPhone 11 series. They have many different iPhone 11s, and they all have different features, and each new one has like an improved camera and increased performance. So that makes the consumers really want to have like the newer product and keep getting the upgrades. And even though the iPhone 11 is like very similar to all the iPhone 11s are very similar to one another, they all have different features, and it's made it like a hot ticket item since September because people really want to get like the newer upgrades. Marketing segmentation. Since Apple considers itself a premium brand offering like products and services with advanced functions, and you can get like upgrades for additional costs and like special packages for additional costs. That is one way that Apple makes different segments in their target markets, because they have the more like the people with the more money will want to like buy the additional features, get advanced functions and like special package deals. And their current target market, like most people who buy the Apple products are 35 to 44-year-old men, because men are for some reason twice as likely to buy Apple products. So they definitely like target the men a lot. And one thing I thought was interesting was under the leadership of Steve Jobs, he kind of did like a mono segment, which means that he pretty much just focused on making the Apple product, like say the iPhone, he made it like very well, and it was a consistent iPhone, like everyone had the same iPhone 4. There was just like one iPhone 4. That's just an example. And he just focused on making the product very well, and he just planned on people, they would want to buy the product if it was a good product, no matter the price. So he kind of just targeted the whole market with that, especially because it was a new piece of technology and people are going to buy it. And then Tim Cook he became the CEO in 2011 for Apple, and he actually does a multi-segment positioning. He's like a lot of the reason why, like, now when we get like the iPhone 11, there'll be like different versions, and then there's like the iPhone 10 and the iPhone XR, and they're all like very similar, but like just a little bit different. And that's like part of the reason why like everyone, you're like, oh, what kind of iPhone is that? They all like seem very similar, but they're different because they're targeting different markets with that. Like with the more expensive iPhones, they'll add features and stuff and target the more wealthy crowd. And then with the just pretty basic iPhones, they'll just target just the general public. And I thought this quote really, really like put that all together. And it says, no longer do the barista and the corporate executive use the same iPhone. So it's just pretty much showing you that like they'll have a similar iPhone, but they are different. And the more expensive iPhone has like a lot of better features and stuff like that. And then for marketing goals and plans, obviously Apple is always trying to expand their markets, improve their great products, improve the iPhones, iPads, iPods, Mac, their software, one thing that is tough when you're looking at their marketing goals and plans is they're obviously always trying to market, but like with their goals, they're not just gonna tell you their goals because that's what makes them different. They need to like keep kind of surprising the public and bringing out different ideas, and just like that's one thing that really raises awareness to their products, is that all of a sudden they'll just like come out with a new idea and stuff and you didn't see it coming. And that's just a really good thing with technology, is that it just keeps coming and you can't really predict, as just the general public can't really predict what they're going to come out with next. And then and we kind of saw that with like the iPhone 12. They came out with that in the past month, and it was just like all of a sudden it had like those thick borders, and it just looked different than the iPhone 11 and everything, and which was really cool. And they always have the smartest groups of researchers, engineers, technicians, marketers, and whatnot, which is like a big reason why they can come out with like the latest and greatest technology, compared to just like if you had your own like small company, you wouldn't just have, you don't have the assets that Apple has. And then this quote from Steve Jobs is really interesting because I think it really like shows how Apple has been so successful. He just pretty much explains that their goal isn't just to make money, it's actually to design and develop and bring like good products to the market, which is pretty much why they always they kind of just come out with all these great products and like innovative products. And like the Apple Watch, for example, like they didn't know if people were gonna just love smartwatches, like the idea of it, but they know that they're making a good product, so they just kind of bank on the fact that people will want to buy the product if it's a good product.
Okay, so the current Apple marketing mix, or the 4 Ps as you call it, we'll start with the product. I kind of focused on like 4 different products that Apple offers, between the iPhone, the AirPods, the watches, and computers. Right now on Apple's website, they're offering 4 different kinds of Apple phones, ranging from the 12 Pro and the 12, the 11, the SE, and the XR. They also offer 7 different computer options between a desktop computer and mobile laptops. Their laptops are the MacBook Air, the Pro 13-inch, and the Pro 16-inch. So you're really just paying for different processing, and some people just pay for the extra 3 inches, which will cost you multiple hundreds of dollars just for a larger screen. The Apple Watches, which I think are one of the greatest products they've probably ever put out. They offer 3 different kinds right now: the Series 6, which is their latest series, the SE, and the Series 3. Their big focus on the Series 6 right now is personal health, which in the current state of the world couldn't be more important. On their website, they quote, "The future of health is on your wrist." So it's giving users more capabilities than ever, really, to understand their health, what they're doing, putting in their body, what they're putting out, and just learning about your health. They're tangible objects. They have lots of different options, but they also have intangible objects that you'll never see or touch. It's only online, basically. Just like iCloud storage, you can purchase 50 gigabytes for $1 a month, and that goes from 200 gigabytes, which is $3 a month, and 2 terabytes, which is $10 a month, which is just iCloud storage, so you'll never see it. And it's for different ranges of people too. Some people don't need 2 terabytes, which is an extremely large amount of storage. Most people don't need that. It's just for that target medium of people that are on their phones constantly taking pictures, listening to music, and just constantly downloading things. So they do a really good job at kind of separating what users really need compared to what other users need. The placement of their product, it's never been easier to buy things. Apple's available at Walmart, Best Buy, Verizon stores, T-Mobile, AT&T. You can buy Apple products at every single one of those stores. So Apple is able to channel their products in through other companies and work with deals like Verizon. When you actually buy Apple products, Verizon offers with the new Apple iPhone 12, they're offering $800 off when you switch to their plan and trade in your old phone. So other companies are able to market Apple products to help each other basically make money. And the internet is another channel that's become the greatest way to buy and sell things. You can continuously scroll through eBay or Amazon or Apple's website, Verizon. You can buy all their product online whenever you want. It can come right to your door. So that's been really one of the greatest innovations, is the internet and online marketing and ordering. The promotion of Apple. In 2015, Apple increased their global budget for advertising by 50%, which got them up to $1.8 billion a year just on marketing alone. So Apple really understands that marketing is very important and trying to get it out to all their different all their different people that buy their products. On their website, they say they believe in ongoing investments into marketing and advertising is a key to improving and innovating technology. So that really shows that Apple cares about their product and what they put out and the quality of their product, which a lot of people really like to see, especially nowadays, like data and your own data protection. Apple really pushes that in their advertisements because people don't really trust the internet or where their information is being put out. So Apple is very confident in saying they have some of the strongest security and data protection out there. Apple is also promoting some of their new products like Apple TV, which is becoming kind of their latest push, or one of the new later target areas they're trying to get into. In October of 2019, Apple spent nearly $20 million on just TV marketing alone for their Apple TV. They've also used, big name actors like Jason Momoa, Reese Witherspoon, and even Oprah too, to kind of find different people, that follow those their movies or whatever they do, Oprah's talk show. So they're using very socially popular people to promote their own product, which in due will have those people try and buy their product. Now the prices for Apple is normally more expensive than competitors, but that's because they have some of the best processing and security, and everything they put out is pretty well made. Like the new iPhones that they have right now, they range from $1,000 to $399. So it really depends on how much money you're willing to spend, and if you just want the latest and greatest because you have all the money, people will do that too. So they try to actually still promote some of their older models for other people who still use very old iPhones that can still upgrade, but it's not the latest and greatest. Just like their laptops can range from $2,400 to $1,000. That's based off of the consumer and what they can afford and buy and the best things they want. I think the Apple Watch is definitely one of the best. You can buy the newest one at $400, or the oldest one at $200. There's not a huge price gap, but the quality and the product and what the product can do has a big difference. So again, it's just really what the user wants, and Apple does a pretty good job at differentiating. Even though they have a very limited product selection, they do a pretty well job at differentiating the prices. And yeah, that's it.
So for Apple SWOT analysis, all companies should always perform a SWOT analysis because it'll show them their strengths, their weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. For Apple, one of their major strengths is technology. They're an industry leader. They're always coming out with new products, new ideas, and they're always trying to gain that upper hand in the market, and they've proven to do that. Social status is a pretty big strength for them because, it's a symbol. The majority of people, at least in the States, has an iPhone, and when you don't have an iPhone, you're to a degree an outlier. And this really helps Apple because that means everyone wants to have that Apple product. And then additional products and services, as John mentioned, you have Apple TV, you have Apple Music, Apple Card, Apple Pay, and these give the consumer the specialized option for more enjoyment, more convenience that only Apple can offer. Weaknesses, pricing could be definitely considered a weakness. Their products are fairly expensive. They're definitely more for the middle and upper class. Lower class income ranges may not be able to afford all their products. Advertising, while Apple is improving on their advertising, they could definitely do better. Right now, you see, a limited number of TV ads. You have their store, their website, things like that. And for people who don't have access maybe to some of those things, it'd be difficult for them to know other than by word of mouth about Apple as a whole. And then software compatibility. Apple products work great with other Apple products. But if you are trying to send a document from your MacBook to a Windows user, the software compatibility may not be there. The user interface isn't nearly as good. It may be very complicated to work around that. Opportunities, artificial intelligence, that's a growing market. It's getting more and more popular. I think if Apple, introduce that more into some of their products, it would not only make the consumer's life easier, but it's just a very cool feature to have, and things like that. One major thing that Apple could do is become more environmentally friendly. In all of their products, they use rare earth metals, which are really hard on the environment to mine and to gather. And their lithium-ion battery, you can't throw it out. It's toxic. And for them to become more environmentally friendly, especially in this day and age when, environmental is all the talk, that would be a fantastic thing, especially for their brand image. And then for the autonomous vehicles, that is another growing market. Apple has all the resources to, get into that market. And they are, again, one of the tech giants. So for them to come out with a line in that area, I think it'd be highly beneficial for them. because you have Tesla and a few other companies. So why not Apple? Threats, obviously, you have Samsung, you have Google, you have LG. All these companies are trying to gain the upper hand in, design and technological upgrades. They're always breathing down Apple's neck to, be better than them and get more of their market share. Counterfeit products, maybe not as big an issue in the United States, but in China, this is a huge issue. This is a major threat because if someone buys the new iPhone and they get it, they paid full price for it as an Apple product, and it's full of bugs, it doesn't have all the features, it really hurts their brand image because they're going to tell their friends, oh, this was horrible, it didn't work like I thought it would. They're going to leave bad reviews. So counterfeit products can be detrimental to Apple. And then the last threat would be decreased performance. There was a major lawsuit. This is almost an internal threat. There's a major lawsuit with the battery performance on the iPhone 8. And Apple admitted to this, to intentionally dropping the performance of the battery, so you'd have to inherently buy a new iPhone prematurely. And this makes people question, the good intentions of the company when they buy one of their products, and it just does not look good for them. So it's always important for a company to, perform a SWOT analysis to see what they can improve, what they're already good at, and what they will need to look for in the future.
So for the case study, I focused on the 4 Ps of both Samsung and Apple. But just for everybody's awareness, Apple sells 18% of the world's smartphones, but makes 87% of the smartphone profit. So obviously they're doing something right, and they're doing better than most competitors if they have 87% of the world's smartphone profit. But anyway, so in comparison to Samsung to Apple, their products are not compatible, like Max said. Therefore, it can tend to look as though Samsung's phones are not as high quality as Apple's phones are. Their prices are relatively the same, but Apple offers Apple Care. Both of them have payment plans, so that's similar, but Apple Care is huge. It shows that Apple's always there to help. They have warranties to protect all of their products. So it shows that Apple's taking one more step above the competitors. For place, Samsung is a South Korean company, and they only have 5 stores in the United States, which can tend to lead some people to choose an Apple product because it's an American company. Even though they're not produced in the United States, it still can waver some people's opinions. For promotion, I think that is their biggest downfall, Samsung's biggest downfall, because Apple announces the announcement date. Apple announces the product, then announces a release date, then releases the product. It's all the anticipation into what this new product's going to be, and how it's different than what's different from the rest of their products